welcome back again with Bahasa with Haura. I'm Haura and I'm a partner for you to learn Bahasa Indonesia, especially if you are an expat that live in Bali or in Indonesia. And now we're gonna discuss about why your staff or your team say yes, but nothing happen. And especially if you have a business or you are a business owner in Bali or in Indonesia, and then you have a team from many people from all over Indonesia, sometimes these things kind of happens from time to time. It's not all the time, it's not for every team is like this, but it is quite pretty common that happening around here. And this is probably mostly because cultural differences and different expectation and unclear communications, and heavy on unclear communications. Why? Because in here, if you are as a boss, if you are as a manager, as a supervisor, when you are being too direct to your staff or to your team, sometimes it's kind of like for your team, for your staff. Because in Indonesian culture, we say things politely, respectfully, and sometimes a little bit smoother than as it should be. And I'm not saying that you need to like really like in a very kind way, no, but this is like you have to be clear communication with your staff. Let's say you want this deadline or this project finished tomorrow 9 a.m. and then we're gonna meet in meeting room with the clients. So you will have to tell your team or your staff like, hey, the deadline is tomorrow, which is besok. And then at 9 a.m. jam 9 pagi. And then you could say with the client, sama client. And then how many people that gonna be here or how many clients that gonna be here? Let's say 8 client in the meeting room. 8 client di meeting room. 8 is 8, D is like on meeting room. So that's why you have to be really precise. What's your expectation? You also have to say what's your expectation for this project to your staff or to your team. Let's say the projects need to be luxurious. If you're an architect, it needs to be really clean and luxurious theme or vibes. So you will have to definitely say it like this is gonna be a luxurious project and this is have to be like really clean and the deadline is tomorrow. So that's definitely you need to communicate with your team. Otherwise, they will say, okay, yes, but because they don't know what's exactly that you want or what exactly that you expect for them to do it, that's what usually miscommunication happening, and then nothing's happen, delay on and on and on and on again until you kind of like, fuck this. It's so hard to live here or so hard to have a business here. When actually it's not true. But you have to adjust with your communication with your team, with your staff as well. Because this is like a tango experience. It goes from your side and it also goes from their side. And then when you already communicate what's your expectation, what's the deadline, and the nitty-gritty things, especially the most important thing, and then still they haven't do it, then you can put some consequences, either way penalty or some things that makes them think, oh, this is serious. We have to take this thing more seriously, and then we have to be precise on the timeline or on the deadline. So definitely it's gonna be really helpful for you, especially if you have a business here or if you are a business owner in Bali or in Indonesia. And also this is one of the most important thing when you have a team or Indonesian team in your business, like avoiding conflict. Because I think this is way too ingrained to our personality as Indonesian people or in Asian culture. Like we kind of avoiding the conflict, especially in business settings. So it's really impossible to avoid it altogether, right? But you can always manage it and put some strategy to handle this conflict. And for example, like when there is a conflict or discomfort through your team members, you can always communicate it personally, like in your office, in a private office, rather than to embrace it in the big meeting. Because like we kind of have like this is like not exactly it is, but it is just like we kind of feel humiliated if you talk about our weaknesses in like a big meeting. So if you want to criticize or you want to give a feedback to your employees, it's better to have a talk in a private room in your office and then talk one by one person to one person, because it is gonna be more effectively. You can always discuss like what's your expectation, what's the deadline, what things that need to be improved to your staff, rather than you say the same thing but you say it in a big meeting with a lot of people. They will feel humiliated and they will feel like, oh, I'm not respected in this office, or I'm not respected in this team. So either way, they probably not gonna be like, oh, I have to be improved, because they kind of already feeling the negative emotion, which is feeling embarrassed or humiliated. They would probably just gonna back out even more and they not gonna perform the best. But if you say it privately with the right expectation, with the right communication and everything, they would more likely to improve to your expectation. They will rise to your expectation even better. So it is gonna be really helpful. And also say it with like, try not to be really harsh to your Indonesian team. I mean, this is like not to be like very kind and everything, but it is just because if you are being too direct to your team, most likely they will feel like, oh, and it's not gonna be really helpful for you and for them, right? So it's better to say it politely, respectfully, make it short and sweet. Not really sweet, but like short and precise what you want. Because if you are being precise, what's your expectation and what things that need to be improved, they will more likely to rise to your expectation and do better. And when they do better, it will improve your business as well. So keep that in mind. Try to minimize the conflict, or if you face the conflict, try to take it with lightly. And also, this is one of the important thing as well. In Indonesia, hierarchy, you like it or not, it still pretty much play the roles when you have a team or when you have a business in Bali or in Indonesia. So let's say when you have like older employees or when you have younger employees, it will gonna be different how you interact with them. So let's say when you interact with the older employees, you probably need to say ibu or bapak. And then you probably have to be more careful as well, because in Asian culture or in Indonesian culture, hierarchy is still pretty much visible and like unwritten rules. Everybody knows, but not everybody knows how to handle it properly. But if you are with the younger employees, that's probably gonna be much easier for you if you are a supervisor or if you are a manager. But also take it with kindness as well, because back to the previous topic that I mentioned, when you are being too direct, people would just like, oh, feels like rude, when actually it's not rude in Western culture, but in Asian culture, when you are being too direct, it feels like it is a little bit rude. So that's why you need to be precise, take it like with lightly, and then with a short, precise, what's your expectation, what things that need to be improved. So it would be lessen the conflict, and then you will get a better result for the next time, or you will get a better improvement for your project, especially if you are working with many people in your team. That's gonna be helpful for you. And if you want to know more insights about Indonesian culture, Indonesian language, we could always collaborate together with Haura, and we can do online class or in-person class. And see you soon.